Alrighty, so today we're going to be removing the center console. Now most of you guys are going to have a door here. It's not going to be a controller like mine is because my car does have bags on it, but we're going to be removing this piece and the whole entire section right here that goes back. Honestly, it's pretty simple to do. It's not hard. I'm going to be changing out a lot of stuff in this interior today, so everything's coming out, seats and all that stuff, but you don't have to take your seats out if you don't want to. There are just some tricky bolts, like down the side right there. There's one, and there's one up here, I think, somewhere that are kind of tricky to get to if you don't take the seats out. So seats are always an option, but I'm going to be taking that out today. So I'm going to start with this piece. What you're going to want to do is right here. This is normally a cup holder, but mine is broken, so yeah, I'm going to pull this out, and this whole section right here slides down. And when it slides down, it's going to wiggle out like that. It is connected to a wire, so you're pulling it, make sure that you unplug this if you're pulling it all the way out, which I will be, so I'll make sure I unplug that. But once you get this piece out, you're going to see these two bolts right here for the armrest, so you're going to want to go ahead and get these bolts out and get this piece off. So I'm going to do that real quick and get back at it. Alrighty, once you get those two screws out in the back right there, the center console is going to pop right out. Now the reason you need to take that off to get this piece off is because there's a screw right here, and normally you'd have a screw on this side. This specific center console trim that we custom did not have this bracket because it broke off. It's pretty common that they break off, but make sure you get these two screws off and we'll go on to the next one. Now once you get those top screw out, it'll kind of make it a little loose up top. What you're gonna do next is get this piece off. Now this car is an automatic. If you have a manual, this makes this way easier. If you have a manual, you just pull the boots up. But if you don't have a manual, you have the automatic. What I like to do is I like to pull from the boot right here. You just pull and it should pop out, and that will uncover a few more screws. You'll see one right there and one right there up top. You got to get those off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those off real quick and go on to the next. All right, now once those two bolts are out of the way, there is a bolt under this button right here, under the hazard button. So the way I like to get this button out is to just reach your finger under it and push the button up from the bottom right there. Make sure you unplug that, and that uncovers another bolt right there you need to get out that holds the center console in. The same deal for the lock button. Just push your finger under that and push it up from the bottom. Get that one out. Get these two unplugged and get that bolt out. I'll get back to you when I get that done. Alright, now to get the center console out, it is a little finicky the way you have to push. So you want to make sure this is like out of the way as much as possible. Kind of like pull it off of the actual shifter and put it like that. That should get it out of the way. And the actual whole center console needs to slide forward a little bit to get the box out if you still have the box. So I want to like lift up at a forward angle, get that over. All right, that's the center console out. Now normally, sometimes what will happen is this little plug right here, see the little like square on it, will normally be attached to that, and you have to like twist it out or unplug it, whatever works for you. That plug goes to the cigarette lighter right there, so you'll make sure to watch out for that when you're pulling it out, and also make sure you get your wires out for the hazards and the locks. So that's the center console trim removal off. Now I gotta get all the other pieces off and get this piece out. All right, so some things we're gonna go ahead and remove now while we're up here is this screw right here. This holds in that bracket that goes across, and there's a screw under this boot right here for the e-brakes. What you're gonna do is, it's just a little clip. You're just gonna pry it kind of up like that. See, that's what they look like, just little teeth. It's gonna be the same for the bottom. Kind of work it out. Bottom right there. It might be easier to actually pull the e-brake to do that, but once you get that out, there is another screw right there that you want to make sure you get. That holds on that right there. So I'm gonna get those two screws out, and then I'll go on to the next part. Alrighty, so I got a lot of those screws out now up top. Now the next battle we have here is getting out this and this. And there's gonna be two screws down here, one right there, one at the bottom. You wanna make sure you get those out. And if you have cup holders in this spot, which I do not, you know, make sure there are two screws through those cup holders you wanna get out as well. But to get these panels out, I pretty much like to just reach in there, pop them forward, make sure get that one unplugged, and the same for this one. Just kind of reach under there, pop them forward, and get them all. I'm taking hands here, but there we go. And get these all unplugged, because in this bracket there are 4 screws, 2 right there, and I believe behind this there are 2 more. We want to make sure we get this bracket out because it is a part of that center console, so we can swap it over to the other one. But I'm gonna go ahead and unplug these and get them all these screws out, and then I'll come back. All right, now once that bracket is out and all those things are unplugged, right here, what you're gonna find is there's gonna be a screw right down there in that hole, and one on the same side right there. You get those 2 screws out, and you make sure that your cigarette lighter is unplugged right there. Make sure that's unplugged, and this whole piece actually just lifts out. I need to unplug mine still, so I'm going to do that. But once I get it unplugged, this whole panel will just come out, and then you'll have more access and be able to get that center console out easier. So I'm going to get that unplugged, get that out real quick. But yeah, this becomes a mess very fast with parts. Can't already tell. Gonna be fun. Alrighty, so next thing we're gonna do is take out these kick panels right here. Mine is going to be a Phillips, so I'm gonna unscrew that, get that screw out of there. And the reason we had to take these off is because there is gonna be a bolt behind this. Now, if you watch my recent video, you know that these kind of just slide back in a particular fashion, but it is a little tough. Oh, there it goes, slides right off. But once we get that off, we're gonna need to get this bolt out right here, and there's normally a bolt up here that you want to get off, but it's not here in this car. I guess I must have missed putting that back in, but just want to get those 2 off on this side, and you'll do the same thing on the other side. There is the same exact screw in the same spot up here, so make sure you do that on the other side. But now we can go to the back. Don't mind this is my speaker wire. Not all car has that, every car has that, but yeah, I'm gonna go to the other side now, do the same thing, and I believe this is going to be an 8mm if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna get that out both ends, and then we'll go to the back. I lied, this is actually a 7mm, not an 8, so my bad. Alrighty, so once you've made an absolute mess of your car, but all your center console things are out, you're gonna come back here, unplug that vent right here, and there are 2 screws right there. You gotta get those out. And once these 2 are out, the only thing left is going to be down there. You see that cover right there? There's a screw right there. And there's a cover like right there, so my finger tapping it. There's also one on this side, but I'm gonna have to take these seats out anyways, so I'm gonna get the seats out to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these 2 out, and once I get the seats out, I'll come back and show you guys getting those last 2 out. And the whole center console, once that's done, should come straight out and straight back, and that'll be a center console removal. Alright, so I went ahead and got the seats out, or the one seat out. I'm gonna get the other side out in a minute here. But you can see here with the seat out, you've got a screw behind this little plate. All that does is pop off, and there's a screw in there. And you got a screw right here, and there's actually another screw up here that I missed. But so that controls, that like holds in this side, and then we got some more on the other end that I gotta get this seat out for. So I'm gonna do that real quick. But if you're wondering how to get the seat out, I'm actually gonna go ahead and post the seat video before I post this video, so that you have a better idea. So if you're stuck right here, or you can't figure out how to get the seat out, just stop, pause the video, and go look at the other video I posted previously of the seat removal. Super easy, it's not difficult at all, it doesn't take long, but I do recommend having a second person with you to make that a little easier. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the other seat out now and get the center console removed. Alright, so I got all the screws out. I was going to mention it before it fell off, but if yours hasn't broken yet, that panel that goes right here that's on the ground right now, there is a clip right here. You can see it broke off in it. I'll show you the top half of it. That's the other half of it right there. When you get this piece off, or the screws out of it. Kind of be careful at prying that out. You don't want it to break like mine did, but you can see right there where it broke. So something to note, but all of these screws are off. So honestly, this thing should, which it already is, just slide right off. I can do this one-handed. I'm gonna attempt it. Let's see. I'm gonna figure out what we're stuck up at and maneuver it out. Alrighty. Right now we're stuck on the gear shifter, it looks like. Gonna get it over that, like so. And there she is. The center console has been removed. Go ahead and get this out of the car. No more center console. And that really pretty much concludes the center console removal. It is, like I said, like you watch, and it's not that hard of a process. More so it's just tedious making sure you get all the screws and whatnot out. But got everything out, so there you have it.